Yeah.
Hello, friends. Welcome in. The score's final. I don't know what it was, though. The Eagles scored a bunch. Cowboys not quite as many. Tough day at the office for our guys. But we're here to break it all down and tell you why everything's going to be okay. It's the DLLS Cowboys postgame show starting now. All right. We have a final score. It's over. It's mercifully over. I looked it up. It turns out the Eagles scored 41.
Yeah,
41-7.
Embarrassing.
Was the final of Eagles-Cowboys as the Cowboys moved to 7-9, and we just have to sort through the emotions of a tough loss. Nobody wants to lose.
You just can't win like that, Jeff. You can't win with turnovers. You just can't do that.
That's fair. That's what you need to get your mic.
You can't win like that, Jeff.
It's gonna be tough. It's tough to see Vach also because he's wearing camo and he's in front of a tree.
He's blending in.
And so you can't even see him.
Floating head.
It's just his head.
Yeah.
You've heard of talking heads. He's a floating head.
Floating.
You've heard of talking heads. You're a floating head.
You've heard of talking heads.
Talking heads.
You don't have to pause that.
You don't have to pause that.
Make it show, man. But yeah, man. Just terrible loss, man. Terrible loss. Turnovers to do it. It wasn't even all like Eagles like that. It was, hey, here's the ball. Y'all want the ball? You just can't have losses like that. You got to play hard, man. You got to finish strong, man. You got to, build for the locker room. You got to build the culture for next year, man.
I know you don't mean anything.
You're so funny.
We got pushed around. We got pushed around in the run game. Saquon crossed 2,000. Where was our D? What's our D line at?
They laid down kind of early.
Got pushed around a little bit.
Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee's tough.
Tanner McKee.
Well-known journeyman backup traveler.
Who said we moving on up? Yeah.
That's Gerald Jones.
It's tough, man. It's just tough. I really want to know what Jerry Jones thinks of all this, man. I just want to know what Jerry thinks of this performance and how his team played in Philadelphia at noon, getting whooped like this, man. I'm curious.
Here he is.
Well, he's here with us.
I'm happy you asked me that, Vooch.
What's my name?
Vooch.
Voke.
It wasn't the best time out there. You always want to go out there, and you do, and did, and will, and try to do the best. And that wasn't our best. But I tell you, I do like a lot of the things that happened out there on that field. We were there, and we were out there, and they were there as well. And
they both
remember
existed.
we were there, and I don't know if you saw a couple of those plays that were, and that's what we'll look at, and we'll evaluate that.
Around the rim.
Cooper was out there too. He played, and
Biotish?
Rico got to 1,000 yards, and I'm happy to announce that we're going to do Ricky Duty. After he did that, we've scheduled new tours where you can see the Ricky ball that will be in the weight room, and you can touch that if you bring the CEO of your company and buy a tour for at least $200. We can get you in there, and you can touch the Ricky Duty ball, and that'll be good.
Do you think Mike McCarthy saved his job today?
Well, I tell you, it's getting interesting, ain't it?
Ricky Ball.
We got 7 more days to figure it out. Now let y'all
Ricky
know.
Ball is in.
Ricky Duty Ball.
Ricky Duty Ball.
Ricky Duty's 1,000-yard ball.
Hey,
You don't think that he doesn't think that that's his name?
He definitely doesn't know Rico's last name. Yeah,
No way.
He probably calls him Uncle Rico.
He doesn't
Doodle,
know.
Duty. Like, there's no way he actually knows his name.
No.
Biadaz. How did Steven say Biadaz?
Biadaz.
Biadaz, yeah.
Y'all.
I mean, not even close. He
No.
turned Biotish into Biadaz.
No, it's a whole nother country of origin.
Yeah.
Anyway, they did lose, and as you can tell, Vach is real tore up about it. It's really been tough on Vach this whole game.
I think this one was a little tough, though. A little ounce of tough.
I mean,
because of the opponent.
Yeah, I mean, none of us like Philly.
I'm very much so conflicted. Let me turn my real voice on for 22 seconds.
Okay.
I don't like Philly at all.
Not a little bit.
I don't like this. I don't like Philly at all. I don't like nothing about them. I don't like them ugly ass jerseys. I don't like their fans.
Kind of nice.
I don't like their head coaches. I think some of their players overrated. And when you give credit to the good players, they get mad that you ain't say good things about their bad players. I know I can say S words, but I wanted to say F words in that situation. That's how I feel about them boys. But there's another part of me that feel like this better draft pick will draft a better player to whoop up on them in the future. So that's where I'm kind of conflicted. But boy, F them dudes.
Your clock management, man.
That was 20?
No, it was actually more like 32, 35.
Oh, that's how Mike McCarthy
I
beat
counted
him.
up to 32, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
I carried my timeouts into the second half.
That's fair.
You know how I go.
You got one?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I sports hate Philadelphia, all their fans. Not all their fans. Some of them are reasonable people. But for the most part, like, they're miserable people, and I don't want good things for them in sports world. But that was good. It's actually, I like, if I'm going to get whooped, let me get whooped in a hurry.
Get it over
mercy
with.
kill.
Because it's a stress-free watch.
It's a mercy kill.
We can start making thumbnails and
at
stuff.
the second
Yeah.
half, it was definitely calm.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a young yeller.
Turnovers is crazy.
We started playing Connect 4. You're just trying to get to the end because you know what's happening, and that is an easier way to sports die is to just get your ass whipped immediately. And so I am appreciative to the Cowboys for doing that. I would like to thank them for never leaving a doubt and just letting us know it's going to be a nice, easy, long day.
Sure.
There was a moment.
There was a moment.
For opening drive, moving the ball, good script.
Couple
and
first
then-
drives, yeah, they had some.
And then CJ Gardner-Johnson said,
I love when the run game like works
Mhm.
real well, and we
Oof.
just throw that mug to the other team.
I didn't understand. Like, there was a couple 4th and 1, 3rd and 1 situations, and it was like, I get the thinking by Cooper Rush to be aggressive, seeing, Mingo go down the sideline, but at the same time, it's like, dog, it's 1 yard.
Yeah.
This is not
You run the ball
time for
well.
this.
If Ford was the quarterback, I can live with that. You know what I'm saying? But he's doing fine. Get to him again.
Dude,
But y'all know how I feel about Mike McCarthy, the play caller. And there's some people, and this ain't me being messy, and I'm just seeing it in just miscellaneous.
you coming
places.
after me here?
You going after me?
I'm a Mike guy. Mike's my guy.
No,
I'm a Mike guy.
Well, you know I'm coming at you. No. There's some people that's like, okay, well, we can bring back Mike, but we just got a different, get a different play call
That's not happening.
and all that. And
not
I'm not feeling. I'm glad you got some insight on that. I'm just not feeling that because the head coach's job is to make the big picture decisions. And if Mike McCarthy can't recognize that his play calling is a problem, then I don't think that that's great head coach behavior. But that's just my opinion.
He does not think he's the problem.
Mike McCarthy just thinks this just.
No, like from several moments, I know that even like hearing him in the pressers and stuff, like some of the reporters will ask him some scheme involved questions, things that, the patterns that they see, stuff like that. And he's not receptive to you being like, what you doing, big dog? He don't like that.
I mean, it's weird because to your point, like vocally he's not receptive, but then you say like, hey, Mike McCarthy, what do you think about motion? He'll seem kind of cringe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 weeks later, he'll start putting in more motion. So like he hears it, and I think he just doesn't want to like get it in press conferences.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point about like, hey, why is that not a thing? Well, Mike McCarthy's got a lot of pride. Yeah, someone asked him earlier this season, like, hey, what about the idea of potentially, giving Brian Schottenheimer some chances to call plays? And he's like, no, that ain't happening. So if you think that he's going to come back with the contingency that you can bring another OC in, that's just not going to happen.
On that point though, Joe, I'm sorry too, because you just said something that just clicked on me. You think that Mike is like this prideful guy.
Yeah.
I remember giving credit to Mike for being the opposite of that. Because in my mind, I'm like, boy, it takes a lot of putting my pride to the side to let the owner, general manager talk about Sean Payton while I'm on the job. Or it takes a lot of pride putting aside for me while everybody's talking about, boy, Dan Quinn could be the next head coach, but I bring Dan Quinn back type stuff. Right. So I used to always look at Mike like, damn, boy, Mike, that's a good head coach trait, know how to put your pride aside for the greater good, right? Or even the whole idea that, Mike Zimmer's here as a Jones hire. You ain't got no choice in this, but he's, you know what I'm saying?
But I think offense is his baby. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, you got to remember where he came up from.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the
Make
day.
sure you say it right.
I mean, the one thing he'll tell you is like, hey, I've worked with this quarterback. I worked with that quarterback. I worked with Aaron Rodgers. Worked with, Steve Young at the end of his career. Like, there's plenty of guys. I think when it comes to offense, he's like, that's the thing I'm good at. And I think this is why he is in terms of being a CEO type head coach, it could be potentially because he'll say, yeah, bring in Zimmer. Okay, fine. If that's what you guys think is the best guy for the defense, I can put that aside. But when it comes to offense, he's just like, nah, man, I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to have a lot of pride in that specific thing.
Well, that's a major flaw on his part. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's just small things. Oh, Jeff.
No, you're good.
Oh, yeah, but it's
Jeff
just
chilling making his money while
Voch
is hosting the show.
Go ahead.
Drink some water. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
he hadn't spoken in a while. I want to
No,
consider him. But
I mean, you guys want to tear down Mike like Mike McCarthy had a problem today. This is a Cowboys problem.
Oh, yeah.
Mike McCarthy problem today.
I mean,
I don't think this was just
you
like
were just. I
It
mean,
wasn't just Mike McCarthy.
no, absolutely. I just think you were outmatched. And one thing about Mike McCarthy, if we're gonna stay there, is the counter to the counter. Clearly, early, I felt like the Cowboys felt like they had some success with like those breaking out routes, just continuing to attack there, making that secondary have to go out there and get those receivers. But then you come back and then you throw a 9-ball, or you're doing and here's my thing, if Cooper Rush has thrown 2 picks already on deep passes,
Yeah,
is somebody going?
that's my problem.
Hey, brother,
That's my problem.
maybe we don't need to do that. What
Well,
was
that's
Rico
Cooper.
averaging?
That's Cooper Rush.
It is Cooper Rush.
It is.
You want them to just not have any receivers run deep? That's real easy to cover.
No, that's
like
not.
Cooper's deciding where he's
I
throwing.
get it. No, don't get it twisted. I understand the reasoning, especially given an Fangio's defense. You're trying to break that shell. I understand the reasoning in doing it. Your quarterback is not throwing the ball well, accurately down the field, and you can't afford any more turnovers. This team is better than you.
That's
this
the
team
most
is better
important
than
part.
you.
He's throwing the ball to the other team. That's the most important part of that.
And that's just and again, I'm not gonna sit up here and just stay on Cooper Rush, but it is too some of the decision making was just dog, who are you looking at? Or just telegraphing exactly what he's doing, which is nuance. And
I think that was an important reminder for part of the fan base.
It was a bad Cooper Rush game for sure.
It was an important reminder for
I agree.
part of the fan base because they've had they have won a good amount of the games that Cooper Rush has started, and they've never been because of Cooper Rush.
Mm-hmm.
But much it's not like it's very much a Spider-Man thing. To me, Dak Prescott, Tony Romo, same guy, right? That guy is good enough for whatever your bar is for. Is this a really good quarterback? Is this a franchise quarterback? Whatever. They both qualify. And so you also end up with a bunch of people who are just like, that's not good enough. He's not good enough, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think some people deserve to watch Cooper Rush for a while and see all of the Cooper Rush experience. And he played a really nice half last week.
Yeah.
Sure.
They did nothing in the second half, but he played a nice half of football. But that's Cooper Rush.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the offense has been, if you want to be honest, is that they'll come out, have a decent script like you were talking about, and then after somebody messed something up or the defense or the other team figures something out, it's like, oh, we can no longer do anything offensively.
Yeah, and Cooper Rush, at the end of the day, his best addition is by not subtracting.
Go
right?
backwards. Start the sentence again.
Huh?
What?
You said at the end.
Oh, at the end of the day.
Oh,
At the
man.
end of the
Nice.
day.
You
I
have
gotta
to
stop
Stephen
saying that
Jones it.
twice
You gotta-
already.
It's taken
wait,
over
That's
you.
twice. I got it.
Well, no, you just had to
My
say it
spirit
right.
is
You just
within
had to
me.
say it right.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush's best thing is by not turning the ball over. They had 4 turnovers combined the last 5 weeks where they went 4-1 and nearly beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Today you have 4 turnovers, and compared to 0, you're going to lose that game every single time. I think with Cooper Rush, and I think the thing with backup quarterbacks is you just cannot put yourself in a position to be the reason why you lose, and Cooper Rush did that early on. One other note, man, how much did they miss CeeDee Lamb? And how good, I mean, not that we needed another reminder of that, but CeeDee Lamb pretty good at football.
They've done a really good job of overcoming a lot of injuries.
I agree.
At some point, you can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you lose your quarterback and then you lose your only threat that your backup is going to throw to, and then you play one of the best teams in football, even without their quarterback, when you go to play against Philadelphia in Philadelphia, you were dealing with one of the best offensive lines in football, one of the best defenses in football, some of the best weapons in football, maybe the best runner in football. You don't have those things.
And I will say one thing. Let me look. I don't know how much Rico Dowdle averaged on the ground.
4.5.
Yeah.
4.5.
Yeah.
Listen, I will say one thing going into this. Okay.
What?
We'll talk. Well, I will say I coming into the game, I was looking at the Cowboys' interior offensive line. You got some young guys that are possibly going to be here next year. How can they move this defensive line for Philly off the ball? I thought that they showed that they could do that in spots consistently. Obviously, they have players, but that's encouraging because most of those guys that are there is going to be here next year.
All right, we're kicking ass and taking names in the post-game show. We appreciate you guys that are in Super Chat. Please hit the like button. Make sure that you're subscribed, all right? We're going to talk about all of the good things from, well,
I got some bad, boy. I got a pocket full of bad, dog.
I got
a pocket full of bad.
I ain't got nothing good.
We're going to tear some people up in the next segment on the DLLS Cowboy. Maybe we'll get a rant mixed in on the DLLS. I don't have one ready. Cowboys post-game show. No, Ben, that's next.
Advertise.
But shout out to our friends at Game Time. Yeah. Our friends at Game Time, who we love so much. Use the code DLLS once you download the Game Time app, and what that gets you is $20 off your first purchase. So you want tickets to go to anything. You want to go to a sporting event. You want to go to some sort of musical show.
Kendrick Lamar. I use Game Time app to get my tickets.
Well, let's go. You got $20. No, I go close and then my bad. Yeah. So you get $20 off when you use our friends at Game Time. So just download that app, and whenever you're feeling like you want to go to a show, you want to get a last-minute ticket for a sporting event. I went to the Stars game the other night. You just pop on that Game Time app, and they've got some really cool features on there, including the ability to toggle the all-in pricing feature, because you don't like to be picking your tickets out, and you're like, all right, that's the price, and then you get the fees and all that. Bang, just roll it all out there at me right now. Let me see it. See what I'm really getting. Let me get a seat view. They got all that stuff for you. That's our friends at Game Time. So download that app and use our code DLLS on the Game Time app if it's your first purchase, and you'll get $20 off of that bad boy. Also, want to shout out our new friends. Did you know that the East-West Shrine Bowl is coming here?
To Dallas?
It's coming here.
Fantastic.
That's America's oldest college football all-star game. It's being held right here in Texas. Some of them Colorado men are going to be here. It's going to be badass. It's on January 30th, so we're a little over a month away. And it'll be the 100th East-West Shrine Bowl at AT&T Stadium. The game benefits Shriners Children's. Mission is to provide innovative pediatric specialty care to improve and transform the lives of children. And we love us some Shrine Bowl. We love our college football all-star games because that is where you get ready to find some guys that you're going to draft. They're going to win all the Super Bowls for the Cowboys. Brian Anger played in the Shrine Bowl. Rico Dowdle played in the Shrine Bowl. Yep. There's going to be some big names there this year. Brock Purdy was a Shrine Bowl guy. Isaiah Pacheco, Zay Flowers, all of those different guys. It's the starting point for many noteworthy NFL careers. Tickets start at just $20. Shrinebowl.com for tickets. So anyway, is there anybody else do we have to yell at anybody today, or is it just they played against a really good team and they don't have their good players and so they died?
Can I yell at someone for you guys? Because I'm objective, so I can't be a fan. But Cowboy fans probably need to yell at the New York Giants. Because the New York Giants went out which is kind of a good thing. They lost the number 1 pick today.
That's probably a good thing.
In the long run, because they might not get a quarterback, but they still might. Yeah. But at the end of the day, by them winning, now the Colts have a better pick than the Cowboys or remain that way. So because of the Giants win, the Cowboys couldn't move up even further.
I'm very self-focused. I wanted to move up one spot.
That's what I'm saying.
And I needed Indy to beat the Giants to move up one spot, but that would also keep the Giants at number 1 to potentially draft their next franchise quarterback. So it's probably a bad trade, but I'm very much focused on me
100%.
And not them.
Malik Neighbors balled out.
And I just Malik Neighbors ruined his chance to get somebody to throw him the football.
Malik Neighbors is the perfect example of don't tank and just let the dudes fall to you. He's a fantastic player, but they lost a lot of games because they ain't got a quarterback, so it's cool.
Could have had Jaden Daniels out there.
Could have had Jaden Daniels.
But they got Malik Neighbors. And Malik Neighbors is wonderful.
Malik Neighbors might be a better player than Jaden Daniels, but boy, quarterback matters. But hey, man, shouts to the Giants, man. I'm sure that the locker room is celebrating right now, boy. I'm sure they got a lot of morale in there. They got a lot of toughness that's gonna carry over. Don't worry about the Giants fans. Don't worry about the Giants fans. That toughness is gonna carry over to next year. They building culture over there for Dayball that might get fired or something. That's cool.
Currently, they've dropped from 1 to 3. That'll go to 4 if the Browns lose. That will drop down to 4.
Can I ask everybody a football question? A Cowboy football question?
I don't really do football, but I'll try.
I like football.
Well, I'm gonna ask this side. You just tune in.
All right.
Aside from the turnovers, right? Because one thing that I've been doing is I've been evaluating Mike Zimmer. I do feel like there's a scenario that exists that Mike McCarthy could get fired, but the Joneses, in which they vouched for Zimmer to be here in the first place, that they could vouch for Zimmer to be here with the next guy. So I just kind of been evaluating him, and I think the defense has been a better unit in this last couple of stretches or whatever. I just asked the panel here, turnovers aside, if you were just evaluating Mike Zimmer and his defense, goofy offensive turnovers aside, do you think that the defense had a solid didn't get whooped day, regardless of the big-ass 41 that's on the scoreboard?
I mean, I think they got smoked in every way imaginable. Like Saquon went for 5.5 a carry, and two bad quarterbacks shredded you when they called passing plays. But I also think that 10 of 15 for 149, almost 10 yards an attempt for Pickett.
I agree.
Tanner McKee went for 15 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
I'm just saying.
This is
There's a lot of things.
this is football.
Sure.
When you run out of dudes,
Mm-hmm.
run out of dudes.
Mhm.
And now I'm going to play against one of the best teams in football, even without their quarterback. And what is going to be my primary thing? They don't want to pass the ball. They want to run it. So I got to try my damnedest against one of the best offensive lines in football to stop Saquon Barkley, who we need to talk about him more later because I saw somebody in the chat like he's going to break the record. He's 100 yards away. There's no way he's going to break the record. Otherwise, he would have kept playing.
Yeah.
Because they still had 60 yards out there for him to get.
Yeah.
They sat him down when he hit 2,000. I don't think they're even going to play him next week.
No.
Unless they still have a chance at the 1 seed, whatever. We'll see. And so, like, your goal has to be, can we slow down Saquon? And early on, kind of. First half, 40 yards. They kept it competitive
The
there.
initial plan.
And that has to be your plan, playing the Eagles. And you ran out of corners.
And if you had a better corner out there, maybe things look a little different.
You ran out of corners. Like
I agree.
any quarterback can find if there's a guy that's a giant blinking light, and that's Andrew Booth.
Yeah.
He was a giant blinking light. Deron Bland's following A.J. Brown. Well, guess what? That means that I got a Pro Bowl caliber receiver on a dude that is only playing NFL football because all your dudes are hurt.
And not even any routes, dude. Like it was
Run
a
right
corner right by him and then a vert right by him.
So, like, you got torched. You got destroyed. I can't talk up Zimmer today, but I can't hold it against him. You ran out of dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it as well is your inability to sustain drives. This defense is on the field a lot of the time, and I think if you could get some type of complementary football in that regard, if the offense could score more and things like that, then your defense would be in a far better position. I agree with you, Jeff. I feel like they had some success early, just shutting down Saquon Barkley, and if they did have a better corner out there, maybe they're not just tossing the ball around like that. So for me, to answer your question, Botch, I think that we have to look at what's going on, obviously, around him, just like Jeff said, as far as losing the players. I'm factoring in the fact that they have held up in first halves of games against some of these stellar teams, and the wheels fall off in the second half because your offense just don't adjust at all.
Yeah. I think one caveat to remember with the Mike Zimmer discussion, though, and I think it really came to a head this week. Mike Zimmer was asked this week by Ed Werder, "You having fun this year?" And he joked, "Oh, yeah, I'm having a blast." And then Ed followed up, and he's like, "But seriously?" And he's like, "This has been tough. This has not been a good year. This has been rough. This has been hard getting back into football. It's been a lot of frustrations early on as they tried to kind of get things going, and they clearly were not kind of adjusting to the scheme early on. The players weren't." He said, in terms of potentially coming back, we'll see at the end of the year. I don't think it's a guarantee that Mike Zimmer is really having a great time being a defensive coordinator in the NFL again.
Oh, wow.
That's fair.
To be honest with you.
No,
Yeah, that would be interesting if he was just like, "No, I'm good. Like, I don't want to."
Yeah, I mean, I think when you go away from something, like it can kind of spark nostalgia, right? And then you get back into it, and it can be like, oh, hey, all these kind of green grass that I thought was over here, yeah, there's some weeds here.
And losing seasons are hard emotionally. They are heavy. Like, I'm telling you, we go in that building, it feels heavy in there some
100%.
days after these losses and stuff. So I'm sure the coaches being present, they probably feel that as well. But, Doug, having to pass the ball only 19 times to win a game with 2 different quarterbacks at that is crazy.
Yeah, having an awesome team is probably so
It
fun.
lets you know how efficient you can be because you simplify the responsibility of the quarterback.
Yeah, because you trade for a weapon to put with your weapon. Like, that helps.
Yeah.
And then you sign a monster to put behind the guys that you signed and traded for and drafted.
On their hands.
And you use all the different ways. You bring in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, you go get him.
Right.
Like, Darius Slay, you go get him. Like, you go get guys when you don't think you're good enough. Like that, I bet that's fun.
That's awesome.
What do y'all think this whole – to me, I think that teams think that it should be hard for the quarterback. Is that the position requires you to be smarter and all this stuff, and they make it – some teams make it challenging for no reason. I feel like the Cowboys have done that with Dak. If you look at the amount of work he's done at the line of scrimmage for most of the time that he's had an OC and play football, it's far more complicated than what it needs to be. What is this? Do you guys agree with that? I'm asking, like, what is this feeling that feels like a lot of teams want the quarterback to have to do a lot of decision making, and the good teams do things like what the Eagles do?
I think when you have a very smart quarterback, you do more. You get to do more.
That's fair.
So if I'm a Like if I'm an OC and I got Malik Willis, I'm gonna go, all right, I got 40 plays for him and this is what it is. But if I got Jordan Love, I got 190 something plays. I can be more creative and I can mix up my looks and I can do some of the things that I would do with Willis. Now, I understand what you're saying because it partially pisses me off too every time I hear Greg Olsen come on and be like, man, boy, they do things a little simpler with Cooper Rush. They didn't do none of this with the run game. I'm confused. Like, it confuses me too. But that just lets you know, and this is why I fight the Cooper Rush fans all the time. Cooper Rush has a lot of great days because it's manufactured to be that way. Dak has a heavier workload. This is my own personal opinion. I don't know.
That's why I'm
just dude with a camera and microphone. Dak's ability to process, it allows you to do more stuff downfield. So if we look at just Dak and be like, man, how did Randall Cobb get good? Or how did what's our guy that went to the Dolphins and he with the Saints now?
Cedric Wilson.
How did Cedric Wilson have a positive year?
You got him paid.
That's because you could do things offensively that can make those dudes great because Dak Prescott has that in him. I don't think Cooper Rush is elevating Jalen Brooks or anything.
We do need to smash in our Empire Impact Player of the Game. Shout out to our friends at Empire today, where when you use our promo code, you get $350 off new flooring. The Empire Impact Player of the Game, and I would like to nominate Cooper Rush for helping us get the job done and make it a stress-free day by doing it early, threw that pick 6 early.
I'm shocked you didn't go with Andrew Booth.
I was going to go Andrew Booth.
I'm shocked you didn't go with Andrew Booth.
I'm shocked. That's true. Yeah, Andrew Booth is a good candidate. Maybe Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith. Either an Eagle player who did something impressive or a Cowboy player who did something inept is my Empire Impact Player of the Game.
Yeah. My suggestion is the Eagles fan that had Tanner McKee's back and AJ Brown's back by giving the football back.
Okay.
That was Tanner McKee's first one. That was a nice. You know what? It's the seasons of giving is still going around. That was nice.
Gotta win home.
Can I say mine?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine is gonna be, even though it still sucks, I think Maris Liufau is really showing what he's capable of, and it makes me sick at the idea that we could have seen him and Overshown on the field at the same time. Maybe we get it, but man, I think the Cowboys went heavy at linebacker this past year, and I think that it paid off for them a little bit.
Shout out to Rico Dowdle, 100-yard day, over 1,000 yards on the season. You the man. Sorry about the rest of those guys out there. That's unfortunate. Coming up next, I do have my 5 favorite moments of the game.
Ooh, okay.
I have my 5 favorite moments of the game. We have your super chats, and we'll continue to party on a Cowboys DLLS postgame show. That's next.
Receiver today?
Man, I have no idea.
CJ Gardner-Johnson, who had a 69-yard interception.
They're rubbing off on you.
Someone else had a comment, so that sparked me, and it was a good comment.
That's good. That's good. Let's knock out some super chats before we get to Jeff's favorite moments of the day. Jeff, you still want Mike back? 10 possessions, 4 punts, 2 INTs, 2 fumbles, 1 missed field goal. Well, you guys love to simplify football, don't you?
That's tough, but
they ran out of good players and they played against a great team. You wanted Mike to make Cooper Rush a better player? Sorry.
Appreciate your Casa de Finch.
Guillotine 06. There was a clown in last week's chat trying to say our backup is better than Dak. Ladies and gents, I present Cooper Rush.
They in all the chats
every week. Yeah.
They in this chat. They all on Twitter everywhere.
It's just, and I think there's a lot of reasons depending on who the person is. But some of it is just, you're mad, frustrated Cowboy fan. You haven't won in forever, and so the quarterback is going to catch a bunch of the blame. And some of you have it for different reasons, but we don't have to worry about all that. Nesto, everything went to hell when Mike called that shot on 3rd and 1. We need to get in the first play and play keep away. It was a 7-7 game. Sure. I mean, they called a bunch of run plays. They tried to run the ball. They just, when they pass, sometimes you have to pass the ball, and sometimes the quarterback throws to the other team, and sometimes you pass the ball to your tight end that we think is a good player, and he hands it to him. Sometimes you hand it to the running back that y'all wanted to hand it to, and then he gives it to him. Sometimes you play like butt.
I think it might have been an alert by Cooper Rush, too.
Yeah, I think he checked out.
I think he checked out to that.
Yeah.
Potentially. I'm not
So Mike
positive.
did a great job. Mike called the perfect play. Rico was going to get a first down.
Jeff, I ain't going, dog.
And then Cooper Rush ruined it.
I ain't having it.
Look, my Mike takes are pretty simple.
I ain't going.
Mike's a middle-of-the-road NFL coach, maybe better than that. So when you want something better, I get it. Jerry probably wouldn't hire better anyway, so I'm just going to hang out with Mike and be like, that's fine. Let's just see how well we can do. Sometimes as a Cowboy fan, you got to settle because you got to know your organization.
No,
You just got to settle.
no, we can't. We
Gone,
can't.
gone. I can't wait to hear what your funniest moments of the game.
Oh,
They
yeah,
weren't.
five
They're not the
things.
funniest. They're my favorite.
There's-
We
But they
all
kinda turn
find
into
them
funny.
funny.
They're
may-
usually very serious moments
They
from
may
the
be
game.
horrifying.
All right, I'm gonna let you do your list, and then if you don't say the one I want to say, may I add to your list?
Absolutely
All right,
not.
go ahead.
Do it.
Have your own segment.
Right now,
No, you absolutely can't. It's not
Barnacle.
allowed.
But
It's
Aisha's-
only my favorite moment.
How about Aisha's one thing?
Yeah, what about Aisha's one thing right now? What?
Go.
One
Aisha's,
more thing?
Yeah.
What was your one thing?
nah, they just so petty for running Trey Lance out there with 1 minute and 51
That
seconds
had to
left
be on your list.
after you had been
on the list.
done by 30. It was on the list. It was on the list.
Here comes Jeff's 4 things.
You know that-
Why you ain't just saying?
He said to say it.
'Cause it
I
ain't
didn't know
time
that
to-
was gonna be funny to you.
You knew that was gonna be on
The
list, though.
reason it was the most funny to me is because technically he went in with 1.5 minutes left.
Are we starting the segment now?
But what I thought was funny was that with like, I don't even know how many minutes left, 10, 12
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter, the Eagles pulled all their starters.
And you
Yeah.
still didn't put
And
him
you
in.
ran Cooper Rush out against their backups. Like, if there is ever a point that Trey Lance is going to go in, how is it then and not 12 minutes, 2 drives prior?
They holding that baby
Because
hostage.
my thing that was going to be in my top 5 is it possible for anyone to hate anyone or anything more than the Cowboys hate Trey Lance?
I
Like,
think,
how do you get that performance from Cooper Rush, who you already know what he is, right? He's an iffy, kind of okay backup quarterback.
Right.
We are where we are. The season is over. This game has been over for quite a while, and you still
Pick
can't
on
run
him.
out the young kid?
Pick up.
That's wild.
It
mean,
was crazy to see.
it's an investment that they've already finished in their minds, that they're not planning on foreseeing through. And I know there's a narrative that like, oh, maybe this will keep his contract number down. They know what they think. They're telling you what they think about Trey Lance. And
Cooper
this
Rush
is-
will be your backup on another 2-year deal after this season.
100%.
Oh, last
Not
week
100%.
everybody was excited about it. And then this
I
week
was.
you want no part of it.
How do you improve? How do you upgrade backup wide receiver, backup quarterback, or you just don't?
Well, this
I
is the
think
whole
most
thing
teams
about
don't.
this is the whole thing about the Cooper Rush thing. It's
Draft
hard
one
for
in the 5th round and hope.
it's hard for NFL teams to find one good quarterback.
Right.
Sure.
Right? So if you can find a guy that like you feel comfortable with, that like runs your system,
Yeah.
that goes 9-5 like he has, I think ultimately that's what you want in
That's
a
what
backup
you look for,
quarterback.
yeah.
Like
I think
you're
what-
going to lose games with backup quarterbacks.
I think my new way to try to find a backup quarterback, and I don't know where this particular person is going to be drafted in this year's NFL draft.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, but I think you find a guy that the NFL scouts don't think they're wowed by his arm or his size or his whatever, but you're like, okay, but that's a good quarterback. And then every 3rd year in the 4th or 5th round, if a guy like that is sitting around, but Brock Purdy, we're not impressed with his arm, his athletic, whatever, but he's a good college quarterback that can throw an accurate football and read a defense. And you draft one every 3rd or 4th year. The Cowboys drafted Dak to be a 4-year backup.
Yeah.
That was their plan.
Mhm.
And then that sucker got on the field and they went, hot damn.
great call.
I think that's the way you do it.
Tracking.
You don't keep around your journeyman forever.
Sure.
Find another one. Take another shot. If Dylan Gabriel is a 4th round player, take him in a heartbeat. I don't know. Maybe he's a 2nd round. I have no idea.
And
But
that's what I was
take him first
asking, because I
overall,
think Cooper Rush has been fine, but I just wonder if you have the opportunity to upgrade at the position or try someone different, if you do that. So, what else you got, Jeff?
Let me tell you what I would do though, Jeff. Can I just add one more thing though?
Yeah, you're really
Barnacles.
jamming this up.
Sorry,
No, it's all
man.
good.
Yeah.
I think.
How do you get to tell me it's all good?
It's all good.
Don't worry about it. I got this. What I would do, Jeff, in that situation,
Yeah.
I think there's something to the old man, former 1st round pick quarterback being good later in life.
Find the bust.
I'm
That went to a bad
I'm gonna go
organization.
find Zach Wilson and just be like, hey man, what happened, bro? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you just see
Trey
the evidence.
Lance.
Like, Trey. Well, see, Trey is like 24. What I'm saying is like, hey, like the Baker Mayfields,
Brandon
and-
Weeden.
or like, what is like Minnesota gonna do next year about the Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy?
I
thing?
forgot we don't have a 4th round pick. So.
Yeah, we ain't got one.
No.
So I would love to just find some 30-year-old. What happened, guy? You know what I'm saying?
Or just keep bringing Flacco back. Yeah, you want to save somebody? Yeah.
You know who they got to bring in? They got to bring in Jameis Winston.
Oh, let's go. Come on, baby.
Honestly,
Make football fun again.
I like
he played
James.
like butt a couple of times now. They won't let him touch the field no more.
They benched
Yeah.
him again.
Come
It's fine.
on.
Bring in
him
James.
and Dak together would be a
Oh,
pair.
oh
You
my
understand? Because
God.
Dak's really like, he's like,
Yeah, Jameis will
That's a
come into
really
the
funny combo. You're
Jameis
right.
will be in the locker room riding a towel like a horse, and Dak could just be so confused. And,
Yeah.
But everybody else will be having a great time. It'll be lovely.
That'd be
And if
great
Dak gets
content.
hurt, we'll get to have fun. I mean, we might throw 7 picks,
Yeah.
but we're going to throw that thing.
We'll have
Bye.
fun.
You have a
What-
chance to throw touchdowns.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's see what else
I'm
we
sorry
got
I
here.
took your.
Oh, Jeff, one more thing. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh my god.
That was a joke. It was a total joke.
It wasn't a joke, I promise.
It's
It was
gonna trigger
100% a
him.
joke.
I did enjoy the A.J. Brown catching a touchdown from Tanner McKee.
Oh, I thought you were going to
And then he just fired that thing 80 yards into the stands because he was
It's
happy
ball.
to score. And he got to the sideline and somebody told him, hey, you know who threw that? And he's like, no, I don't know who threw it. Like, it's one of our backups. And they're like, that was Tanner McKee. Do you think he's ever played and thrown a touchdown? And AJ was like, I don't know, probably not. And they're like,
He still is like, so?
Yeah, right.
So? What do you mean?
And they're like, well, no, that was his first one. And he goes, oh, damn.
But, wait, hold on, Jeff. I think that's the most accurate example. I think it took a while for AJ to be like, what are y'all saying?
Right. No, what we're saying is he's never thrown a touchdown in this league. And he was like,
Right.
but and they're
He
like,
might want to keep the football.
right, he might
Oh.
want the damn. And so he was telling the fan, he was like, I'll give you my jersey. And the guy's like, AJ Brown jersey or Tanner McKee football. Okay, I'll take that.
I'll take the jersey.
And I enjoyed that the Philly fan was very Philly fan. Everything about it was so Philly.
He's like, I got you,
Where he
bro.
was saying, I got you.
I got you.
And flexing.
I got
like
you.
he had scored a touchdown. He's like, AJ, I got you.
You and me.
We're friends.
I got you.
It gives Sirianni.
Yeah,
it does
It
give
gives
Sirianni.
Sirianni bad.
That dude was like, let's meet up and lift after this. Like, you know,
They
it
gonna
was
be buddies
incredible.
in his mind.
Honestly, you see who the negotiator was too? It was Big Dom.
Of course it was.
Please.
And so he was going to this. He's like, I'll fight you, Big Dom.
God, they're so hard to root for. This is how I know my self-work isn't done.
I don't like the people.
Because, like, Big Dom sucks.
Yeah.
Sirianni
Talk to-
sucks.
Yes.
Like, these people are the epitome of miserable Northeastern person that fits the stereotype of
Yeah.
why no one wants to live there because you're all just miserable because it's cold outside.
Shout out to our
That's how
friends
I
at
know my self-work
PHLY.
isn't done.
Mhm.
So
And
what I
that-
should say is everyone is trying their best.
F them people, Jeff.
I shouldn't be so entertained by the fact that Garrett Wilson is now saying, if you're keeping Aaron Rodgers next year, I want out because he sucks. I shouldn't be entertained by that. I should say to myself, everyone is trying their best.
No.
Aaron doesn't mean
You've come a long way, Jeff.
to claim to be a mental health, egoless person and then throw a bitch fit every time a fourth down doesn't work because of him, and then he blames somebody else and becomes this massive egomaniac despite talking about all the things he's done to get rid of his ego. That shouldn't bother me. I should be like, that's unfortunate, and I hope he continues to find his enlightenment. But instead, I heard that Garrett Wilson wanted out if Aaron's still going to be there, and I was like, and that's not how you want to be.
Imagine your
that laugh was
owner.
wild.
I love that side of you, Jeff.
That's not how you want to
Is
be.
it their GM, right? Of Philly?
Who?
Jeffrey Lurie? Or I mean, not Jeffrey Lurie.
Howie Roseman?
Howie Roseman.
Well, he's a stud.
I
Imagine-
don't
but
have a
that's what I'm
problem with Howard.
saying.
I like
He's a
him.
stud.
I like him.
Imagine your GM covering up your faults. As
Oh
covering
yeah, it's
up your
fun.
faults
No,
as
yeah, yeah.
coaches.
That was one. So one of my things is they showed Howie in the
I'm
suite.
stealing.
No. One of my things is they showed Howie in the suite, and there's nothing like unique or entertaining about it. It just when I looked at him, I was like, he looks like he's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
No, you were like, oh my
And then-
God, look at that man.
I was like, look at Howie.
Look at him.
Like he's like locked in, and like he has a pen.
What a
You're like,
guy.
that's a GM.
Like that guy's working, and they show Jerry, and he's just staring off into the abyss, wondering if he'll see tomorrow.
Don't know
And
where he
it's
is.
like-
Oh, Jeff.
I'm not going to HE double hockey sticks with
Damn.
you.
No, that's what I do every day too.
You need to do some self work.
The future is not.
need to
I'm trying to
work
make it
yourself.
in the
Should we go to Clarence?
Brandon Aubrey doinked it from 61, but damn it, that was good from 75.
It
If
was.
he had it 6 inches to the left.
It was.
Well, he smoked that ball. And an Eagles fan apparently told Jerry today, keep doing the job you're doing this year. That was
No.
from the pregame show. Jerry said that an Eagle fan told him that.
I
Which-
bet you Jerry thumbs up. Hey.
I bet he did. I bet he gave him a Cowboy jersey and they hugged.
He's like, I'm making a lot of money.
And they're besties.
Goofy.
Let's check in with our buddy Clarence Hill. He's out there dealing with this nonsense in person, and that's unfortunate.
Clarence.
Let's check out the greatest
There
in
he
the history of
is.
the Cowboys. Clarence, what do we need to know?
You guys are having too much fun.
If you don't have, look, here's what you
I mean,
could
I've been
do.
listening. I've been listening for a minute. You guys
You
are
can be
having
sad,
fun.
but a sad product isn't fun to watch. Like I think if you're representing the fans and you're pissed and you yell a little bit, that's good.
Yeah, work.
But let's just have fun. Like
Yeah,
you're not
you
going to
wasn't
let me
pissed,
not
y'all.
enjoy sports because you suck at
Hey,
it. That's not
yeah,
happening.
y'all was having a good time. I was enjoying this on the broadcast, but the locker room wasn't so much fun. And Mike McCarthy didn't want to talk about his future and assess the season and his second losing season. He'll do that in 8 days, not 7 days, 8 days. So that's, I guess, the Monday after. If the Cowboys continue to play on Sunday, he'll do that in 8 days. We talked to Dak Prescott walking out, and Dak Prescott told me that he's not running yet, but certainly he's walking, and he just feels helpless, not being able to help his team. But he did say that he would plan to talk to Jerry Jones about Mike coming back and wanting Mike to come back. That's what Dak plans to do. I asked Micah Parsons the same question, and he started saying, I want Mike back. They know I want Mike back. He was talking about Zimmer.
I'm screaming right now. That is funny.
He was talking about Zimmer, but he just talked about and I asked him, you know, do you want to get the season over? And he said, no, we don't want to get. I'm going to finish it out. I want to finish it out. We had a movie this week. Somebody showed him a movie about finishing what they started, and he plans to finish it out and give it all he got against Washington next week. And you know that's who they are. They don't just play football; they're football players. They want to finish it out.
That's the most generic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
They watched a movie this week where somebody tried to finish something.
What was the movie, Clarence? What was the follow-up question? Was there a follow-up
They
question?
watched a movie where you had to finish the fight. Was Pearl Harbor?
Did he tell you the movie and you forgot?
No, he did not. He did not. He was just talking in general about, you know, not wanting the season to be over. And, you know, because I said, you know, because he talked about how tough the season was and, you know, having all the guys injured. And I just said, are you ready for the season to go over and restart for next year? Because he talked about next year. And he said, no, it's not about that. We're going to finish it out and give it all. And he brought up generically about some movie that they saw about finishing it out and watching the Super Bowl and wanting to be out there. And this is what we do. And so he was trying to give us leadership, Micah, and profound Micah about finishing what you started.
Clarence, let me ask you a question. Vash Lombardi, by the way. When you hear Dak backing Mike McCarthy or like advocating for Mike McCarthy, do you think that that's Dak and his leadership degree? Do you think that's him being super quarterback guy? Like, it's, hey, you know, he's on contract. I'm rooting for Mike McCarthy. Or do you really think that, you know, all right, we should probably get a better coach here, and that's really what I'm going to talk to Jerry about. Like, I'm sure he does like Mike McCarthy, like person, like as a dude. But do you think that Mike is going to be good enough for us to win next year? And that's what Dak's really talking to Jerry about.
I really think Dak is sold on Mike. But Dak had the best season of his career under Mike, you know, last year. And certainly I believe that Dak would have backed Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett to the hill because that's who he is. And those guys actually gave him his job. I mean, there was the guys who allowed him to be the Cowboys quarterback and kept him out there in front of Tony Romo. And so he was indebted to them. And I think he's in lockstep with Mike. He really believes that Mike is his guy and they're tied at the hip to a certain extent. So I don't think that he like, I need another guy. I think as I've been saying, they need some more help. He needs more receivers, you know. And yes, we can talk about the play call and all you want to, but it's been CD and a bunch of maybes, you know, out there. I think he wants more help.
Clarence, we've been talking a lot about Cooper Rush today, and just kind of what he's done, the resume he's put on, and kind of the obviously poor performance today. What did Mike have to say about Cooper? You know, did Cooper talk? Anything from that? Or?
Yeah, they, you know, interceptions. I mean, turnovers. Mike talked about the turnovers. When they've been bad, they've turned the ball over. He basically said all the interceptions were bad decisions. You know, he didn't give Cooper much grace. He said they were bad decisions. The 3rd and 7 going deep. You know, What are we doing there? The 3rd and 1. You know, you're going deep. The Mingo was open. Cooper threw the ball outside. You know, and started the opening drive of the game. It was just a bad interception that went for a pick 6. Cooper's never played well against the Eagles. I think he has maybe 10 interceptions in his career. I think 5 have been in this building, you know, and he talked about, you know, maybe it's the green. I'm just not playing well when I come to Philadelphia. But asked Mike about Trey Lance. He said that he wanted to get him in a series earlier than he did. You know, I thought he should have played the whole second half. He would not get into next week. He said we're too far away from whether Trey Lance is going to start next week. But what do you got to lose?
Yeah, I think you should let Micah get some quarterback. I think you got to, if you're going to have guys play, at least have some fun. That's what I'm a big fan. If he wants to, like, don't you think that would matter to a guy? Like, you want the guy you're trying to extend to be happy. Like, Micah, you want to run the ball a couple times? You want to throw it? What do you want to do?
Well, Micah's vouching for Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, Zimmer. What is Zeke still doing out there though? I mean, why not
Clarence, thank you. We'll catch you next time, my friend.
Let him talk, man. Let him
Have
talk.
a great day.
Let him hate on Zeke because there's people in our comments that came after us, Jeff. They came after us and they said, "Oh, Zeke's about to do special things." But then they're going to make us apologize. You and Jeff should apologize after the wide open.
After he had a 4-yard carry or something, and people were like,
and nobody touched him. Where are those? I really want to know what Clarence has to say about
that's
damn
messy, and that means we still have self-work to do.
I don't
I'm
need
gonna put
work.
my
I'm
hand
messy
up,
as
though.
hell. I'm a narcissist. I don't know.
I'm gonna put my hand up. I'm gonna put my hand up
Zeke's
for
had
accountability. No, I kind of was saying, hey, look, Zeke still got it.
Oh,
After
Joe.
got
that first,
what?
After that first game. That's
At
what
least
I'm
he's
putting a
being
hand of
honest.
accountability.
He's holding himself
Let that man be accountable.
I'm being
without
accountable.
Shaming him.
I did a whole TikTok video about him doing his little jump over thing on that first play. I was like, man, he was waiting for that.
He jumped over a guy.
He jumped over the guy. Denzel
Big.
Ward standing up in the first play of the season.
It's big.
It was kind of cool.
I'm gonna go back to that first video and find these damn people.
Okay, yeah, we got. Yeah, call him out. Voch is going to
Hand
call
up.
out everybody who came after us about Zeke by name in the final segment today.
these damn-
So be locked in for that on the DLLS
Two
Cowboys post-game
One for the
show.
plug, one for the low.
Why do they call him Dusty?
There's two things I want to shout out here. One, us. And us is you. You are part of us. Anybody who's in here, if you're in the chat, if you're hitting the like button, if you're hitting the subscribe button, you're helping us, and we love that. You're part of our team. If you're hitting the thumbs down button, that's kind of messed up because that could hurt the algorithm. And so if you could just undo that and then hit the thumbs up, that would be way better. And if you want to take it a step further, join as a diehard at alldlls.com. If you're watching on Vachari's channel, alldlls.com is where you can do all of your one-stop shopping for your DFW sports content. We obviously have shows for every team. We have writers for every team that are at all these games. And you get, if you join as a diehard, you get the premium written content. You get an ad-free experience on the website. You get a free T-shirt that you can pick from our merch store. You see my hoodie. It's not free, but you get 20% off merch when you're a diehard, so you could get this kick-ass hoodie. Mine's kind of camo, but Vacha's is more camo.
Yeah, mine's
kind of. Mine would be camo if I was in a dark woods. Yours is a standard woods.
regular woods.
Yeah. So sign up to be a diehard. We sure would appreciate it. We have a Discord where we all hang out, and it's fun to be there during the games or just randomly at night after you've had a couple. You just hop into the food section and post a picture of the grilled cheese that you made. I do that sometimes. But I also want to shout out our friends at Sleeper one more time in this broadcast because they are
Our very
Receipts.
first show.
He's back on our
It's
first
our
show.
very first show. And
Receipts.
and T-Jack, I'm ashamed of you. And Vach and Jeff, what I told y'all about Zeke, all right, you better not be in this chat. But go ahead though, Jeff.
Well, you could be in this chat, and that would be fine.
It's all right.
What do you have for us?
Oh, let's see it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, how sweet
Oh.
of him.
Cat, you don't understand. F them people. I don't care about that goofy jersey or this man.
We don't
Care
want
about these
We
people.
don't like any of them.
It's genuine. I just hate it.
Good for them.
It's genuine. I just
It's part of the Eagle thing is actually incredibly admirable. Like the fact that they can be, what are they now, 14-2?
Yeah.
But every other week, their whole fan base is like, our quarterback sucks. And the receiver is like, our quarterback sucks.
They're
I'm
not
like, man,
wrong.
they're 14-2 and they hate each other. There's real anger in Philadelphia at all times.
They're not wrong though.
Like they just they booed their team for punting on 4th and 9 from their own 40 early in the
As they should.
game.
As they
It was 4th and 9
As they should.
on
Go
their
for
own
it.
40, and they were booing.
It is
They're committed
really-
to the bit. They're
really
pissed.
love and hate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Northie. The secret is it's cold up there,
Mm.
and if it's cold, you're pissed.
Yeah.
That like if
real
you grow up and it's always cold, you're mad.
Yeah.
because it's cold.
Well, the Midwest is nice. People in the Midwest are nice.
Well, they don't have to see people as often,
True.
so they're cold on their own. They're
They got
cold
warm
around a bunch of
hearts.
people.
I lived in the Midwest for 6 years. I'm not gonna comment.
You know where else is cold is Canada.
Well, you
And-
can't point it out and then retract and then not have a comment. You have
No,
to
you're
tell them.
right. You don't see a lot of people.
No.
Oh, okay.
You never see those.
It's cold in Canada though too, and that's where Sidney Brown is from. And I thought Canadians were supposed to be nice. Sidney Brown got
You know
he's the first Canadian that got DQ'd.
You know that about him? I called him Swiper during the draft process.
Oh, is he a Jalen Smith guy? He swipes even when he didn't do
Nah,
anything
he
good?
just
No.
catch you slipping.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
But yeah, he threw.
Well,
who did he toss? Was it Troy Pride that he?
It was Troy Pride, who we found out was a Cowboy
I didn't even know
today.
he
They
was
were
on the
scrappy today. I mean, you don't like Philly. The Cowboys players clearly don't like Philly. It was a couple,
The one when you're
wrestling
up by 35 and you get
I'm saying.
mad and just throw a guy 15 yards out of bounds for no reason, that was very confusing. I'd like to know what somebody said to Sidney Brown. Because at first I was like, man, the Cowboys are some Bs. Like, you're being
Yeah.
down by 100 and then you start fighting people. Like,
Yeah.
that's a B move.
Yeah.
But it turned out that it was a Philly guy that you're winning by 100 and just mad at the world.
I thought Canadians were
Philly.
supposed to be nice.
They said that Hoffman was antagonizing the fans when he first got there, and I said, you know what? This guy can stay.
He can, but you might need to get your muscles up a little bit if you're going to try to take a football from Jalen Carter underneath the pile, buddy.
Oh
Yeah, it's
my
tough,
gosh.
dog.
He
Actually, I
smashed
didn't want him to get the ball, though, so great job, Brock.
Nobody wants to be under the piles, man.
Great job, Brock. Do we have super chats that we need to hammer through? Do we have some of them things?
Captain Thunder, we will read your comments
Yeah,
if
he
you
did.
super chat.
Oh, yeah, Captain Thunder, you know you
No,
have
no,
to
you
pay.
know the deal, my guy.
You have to pay.
You know the deal.
If you are just a massive hater and it's your whole personality, you got to pay to have them read.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know the cost
know
of
the
doing
deal.
business. Caller Steve. Eagles playoff collapse. McCarthy, Eagles coach. That would be fun.
Lonnie Bean, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Zeke played well, good block and score from the red zone. Come on, man. All right, Lonnie Bean, go ahead and read the rest of your
I like that Botch is
This is
going to
very
spend the rest of the
vengeful.
show searching through there for that.
Oh, vengeance.
Mark is in here in the super chat. Aaron Rodgers' skills finally aligning with his personality. Trash. Also, do we have any must-sign unrestricted free agents on our roster? That's interesting.
Probably.
Here we go, Ministries.
Probably-
Shouts out to Zeke Vod. I bet. You better not be in the chat today. I don't let me see you.
Oso
Probably
Lewis, one of them. What?
Probably Turpin.
He's restricted though.
He's
he's
restricted. You probably
restricted.
get to keep him.
Yeah.
But then the closest thing is probably either Jordan Lewis or Osa.
Mhm.
Rico Dowdle.
I would like to keep Rico, but I have no idea what Rico's
think
market is. I have no
Rico's
idea.
money's probably gonna
Like if
be
they had
up.
let him play all year, he's a 1,400-yard back, but they didn't. So he's going to be a 1,080-yard back, whatever.
Isn't that
Oh yeah, one more.
isn't that
Oh,
like proof that you can get like a day 3 type undrafted type and they'll be a fine running back, or are we still trying to go really high with the running back pick?
I think if you do, as long as you bring multiples in, because I think if you go 6th, 7th round undrafted, there's a chance he's not actually an NFL player. But if you take me one in the 3rd, one in the 7th, and bring in an unrestricted free agent, I bet we could do this job. But if I can really block, get me a monster. Put Genty behind a stud line and watch us just smash you.
I would just love that. And, we're going to be watching the Boise game and all that stuff for the playoffs. But if I could just say it's about running back, East Ag Reppa 817 says
God.
4 yards of carry for Zeke Vouch. Oh, I bet after not being touched for most of that. Look at this, Jeff. It's
The bar
another
got
one.
moved so low, too, by the Zeke fan, where it's like, see, he got 4 a carry? And I'm
I
like,
know.
you mean like the very minimum that's acceptable as an NFL running back?
Eileen Peppers says, you both are. Zeke is needed and is going to do great. You're not correcting your analysis on the running backs. I be damned.
We analyze our asses off.
Hell wrong with these people.
We be analyzing.
You get paid the big bucks around here.
And to be clear,
where's that super?
I hope that Zeke has generational wealth and that his family is great
hope
forever.
he's great. I hope he buys
that they
mama
have
another
He
house.
was dancing on TikTok. He's okay.
Huh?
He was dancing on
With his
TikTok.
sisters and stuff. He
That's
seems
just
happy.
selfish. He's enjoying himself during the bad season.
Be with your family, Zeke.
Look
I love
how
that.
much they got to zoom in for you.
Cause my eyes. Jason Barnes. Huh? Oh, he dropped a dub and says, why keep Mike McCarthy when before DQ he had a losing record, and then after DQ he has another losing record, and the offense was terrible even with that. Keep Zimmer and start over on offense. I will say this, Jason, we need to investigate why. Let me look again. We need to investigate why Mike McCarthy's offenses be goofy for like 9 and 10 weeks, and then they just kind of roll out and look a little different. And
We know he's got it in him.
and then they look weird at the end. We need to figure that out. Why? I think he's using the worst plays early, and they run downfield and they turn around, and he try to save all his best plays for the end of the season. There's really a thing where coaches install in different
He's talked
No,
about
no,
that.
All
I
the
was
good
gonna
coaches have stuff in their pocket for later.
Trimesters.
They
No,
all
the
do.
best thing to your point about Mike McCarthy that people have told me is that he thinks about the long game. He thinks he has details about playoffs coordinated in preseason.
And
That's
then we
not
see
a bad. It's
But
not a
then we
bad.
see him in the playoffs.
I know.
Where's the stuff he's
ironic.
Where the good plays at?
No, but to your point, would you doubt if he actually said hey, we're going to start here and then we're going to just develop things off that?
I
There's
think that
nothing
makes
wrong
sense.
with that, but you can't suck in the beginning.
No, you can't.
No,
And
but
he
that-
knows-
yeah, your
and
point,
he
yeah.
knows, and he knows that too. It's one of the things that I like about Mike is I think that he does see the big picture well, and I think a lot of the
Yes.
things that he thinks are very smart. For instance, when he was talking about the beginning of the season, he's like, "It sucks that we didn't start well because in this league,
Yes.
you can win early
It's the easy
because
part.
people are not ready to play early, and
Right,
you
right.
can be ready and you can take advantage." Like he knows the things that are achievable, and I think how to achieve them. It's just sometimes this year sucked because everybody got hurt, and you didn't try this offseason. When they tried in the off seasons, they won 12 every year. They didn't try this offseason, and then they had people get hurt. That sucks.
And if that's going to be the point, I want the offense coordinator, play caller guy to be creative and good enough all year. That's the guy that I'm looking for next. I don't want the dude that's only great 8 weeks out of 17.
Can I throw you a random name?
Because Dak not done yet, just says Vach hating because he don't like Zeke. Go ahead.
Okay. Can I throw a name at you?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to super chat real quick. Aaron wanted to know, what's our draft pick now? I would rather have beat the Eagles for momentum. There's no such thing as momentum. There's a whole freaking
no such thing as
offseason, and it's going to be 40 different players here. There's no momentum that carries over for however many months when all the players change too.
Yep.
We are currently 13th. The Indianapolis Colts lost to the Giants and stayed in front or got in front of us, but we were 15th. Now we're 13th. We jumped over Arizona, and temporarily we jumped over Miami. So the name that I found interesting, Bill Barnwell's my guy on ESPN. I like reading his
Yeah,
stuff
he's
sometimes because he doesn't write the stuff that is too long.
I was like, he coaching, but I got you. Go
I
ahead.
like to just be able to read stuff that doesn't take too long.
Yeah, he's great.
And the one that he did today was like ranking the coaching jobs that may be available or likely will be available or whatever. And he had to say in there, like, I'm not trying to get people fired. I'm just saying these are jobs that could be open. And he didn't put the Cowboys on there, but he ranked 9 jobs. And it was interesting to me that the Cowboys were not on there. The Dolphins were.
Oh, Mike McDaniel.
That's interesting.
Would you take Mike McDaniel?
Yes.
I think I would take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But
Hell
that
yeah.
vibe does not work with Jerry at all. His chill vibe and just like, hey, I'm gonna like talk trash
But
to
it
players.
But you think it might work because he is chill?
No, but
Like,
like
Jerry
he's
might
like,
not
but
know
he's
that
like
Mike's
young
making fun of him.
chill.
Yeah.
He's like, what'd you say?
I think Jerry might not know when like Mike's making fun of him in the media.
Yeah,
Because I think Mike would make fun of Jerry.
100%.
He would be fun.
as the OC or like the head coach.
Hey, coach.
He'd be fun.
It'd be fun. But there's no way that meshes with Jerry.
I think we
Jones.
live in a world where if you want the great OC, you have to hire him as your head coach.
If you just got fired as a head coach, I think I can get you on a discount.
But the theory from Barnwell, I think, was that like Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, is kind of impulsive, and if he doesn't feel good that moment, he might fire somebody. Like I think Mike McDaniel would have a market,
I also think Mike
Hell
McDaniel
yeah.
probably sold the ownership on the idea of Tua,
and Tua might be
and
broken,
Tua might be bad.
and Tyreek Hill is
That's very
getting
fair.
older.
That's their fault spend all that money on 3 people.
I mean, it looked like it was going to work
Tyreek
great
Hill
for a
better
hot
make all the
minute.
money he can. 5 kids in 1 year is insane.
Man,
My boy.
You see, you're already
Man.
scouting his next head coaching job.
ma'am. Yeah. So anyway, the Cowboys lost, and it's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
The Eagles are
Yeah,
really good
we're
at
over it.
football. The Cowboys aren't great at football. And if we could just sneak out one more big hot L next week, we're just trying to get as high up as we can in
We
this
got
thing.
embarrassed today, and you worry about the draft, Jeff. We need to try to win next week.
And then we're going to try to figure out which guys are we going to add to this team
Funny.
to pick later next year by
Yeah.
winning the Super Bowl. I want you where I want to pick 32.
Let's go.
32.
We're going to go for that W.
But it starts with picking higher. It's quick.
there you go.
And then 32 next year.
Yeah.
So thank you for hanging out. If you're on any other platform, make sure you are following Botch Lombardi's YouTube channel, the greatest Cowboys content creator on planet Earth. Make sure Joe Hoyt is on Blue Sky
Hoyt.
now. Get up in there.
Yes.
Are you sure you're on Blue Sky?
I don't.
Soon.
Follow her on Twitter.
She's here.
Remember, you have
On
no
the
idea what
LLS.
anybody's going through. Be cool to everybody. We love you. Be
Dosky,
easy
Woski,
or else.
Peasky, Weasky.
We all silly like the mayor.